All right, it is May 2022, and it's pretty much 13 years since I graduated from college at Purdue University. I was getting a degree in food and biological process engineering. I was all set up. I had done an internship with Sara Lee the summer before, and really, if I wanted to get a job for one of the big food corporations as an engineer, I had the opportunity to do that. I'm talking Sara Lee, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, Kraft, any of these companies. Somebody would have hired me and I would have kind of been set as far as my career goes. I could have been an engineer for the rest of my working life. But that's the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be different. I wanted to do something different. I guess I still do because I'm still making it work. And that's why I'm making this video, just kind of going over how I made it work. If you're somebody who doesn't want to have a traditional job, doesn't want to be traditionally employed, I just wanted to kind of go over what I did, what happened, just kind of reminisce over what happened and how it happened and how I'm still doing it today and how it's working out for me. So yeah, I didn't want to have a job. It's the last thing I wanted, to my parents' chagrin, who had, helped me go through college and get my degree. They wanted nothing more to see me become an engineer, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have a business. I wanted to be a freelancer. I wanted to work from home. All things that were, very different from what everybody else was doing. I kind of decided that's what I wanted to do. Especially after that summer working for Sara Lee as an intern, I knew I was not cut out for the corporate world, the corporate rules, the corporate ladders to climb and all that, the office politics. I hated all that stuff. I hated working on a team, to be frank. I much preferred to work individually and kind of contribute maybe to a team, but as an individual contributor. And I knew that about myself, and I knew I had to make something work. And I think that was probably the most critical thing. If you're, if becoming a freelancer or having your own business, working from home, that kind of thing just sounds nice to you, or like, oh, that would be cool. And that's it, then it's probably not going to work out for you. There's nothing I can say to really help you. But if you're somebody that's very serious about it and that's kind of what you have to do and that's how you have to live your life, which is where I was, then it's actually probably going to happen very naturally for you. And that's kind of how it happened for me. I knew I didn't want the job, so I said, all right, what can I do? I said, I have to start a business. And I was like, well, the easiest way for me to start a business is to do something online. That's the cheapest way. You don't need physical space. You don't need inventory. You don't need to spend all this money. You just need to get a website up. And I was like, well, websites are kind of expensive to build unless I learned to build websites myself. So I started teaching myself how to build websites. And I built all these horrible, stupid websites for myself that I thought maybe one day would make me some money. But they were terrible ideas that absolutely went nowhere. But I learned how to build websites in the process. And I started talking to people about, hey, I'm building websites, trying to start businesses, but I'm learning to build websites in the meantime. And I eventually got an opportunity out of the blue from somebody that I hadn't talked to in a long time, and they needed help building a website, and he asked me to do it for free. And I said, of course. It's the first time I would be building a website for anybody. And it was for this little political group in town that was trying to pass a law locally that I wasn't like really for it, but I wasn't against it, and I didn't mind doing it. And so I said, all right, I'll do it. So I built them this really terrible website, but it worked for them. The law got passed, actually. Not that I had much to do with that or that I cared really, but it did. And that was a good experience. And they introduced me to somebody else kind of in the same genre. And that organization offered to pay me to build their website. And they ended up paying me $15 an hour, I think. It's about 13 years ago, a little less than 13 years ago, to build their website. And that was a great experience because that made me believe that, oh, I can do this for money. I can build websites for money. Yeah, I still want to have my business, my online business that makes money while I sleep, while I work 4 hours a week and travel the world and live on the beach. That was kind of the dream going on around on the internet those days. Still is, I'm sure. I still wanted to have the online business, but I said, in the meantime, while I'm figuring that out, I can make money as a freelance web developer. And I got that first job serendipitously. Wasn't the best opportunity, didn't pay much, but it paid, and it forced me to deliver something, which I was very uncomfortable with doing at the time. And it forced me to communicate with a client and start figuring that process out. And that just broke down a bunch of mental barriers that are in my way of becoming fully freelance and making the income I needed to make to support myself without being employed. A distant family member eventually gave me another opportunity to do some things for free for them, and that ended up leading to like almost a full-time independent contractor type relationship where I was working from home for this marketing agency essentially and building websites, fixing websites for them. And they were paying me, it's funny, they started paying me $25 an hour, and then they basically came to me and said, hey, we want to give you more work, but you're not really efficient enough for us to pay you like full-time type hours at $25 an hour, so we're going to drop you down to 16 if that's okay with you. Otherwise, we can't do it. And I said, all right, fine. So that was another thing where I took the opportunity. I hate, taking a pay cut is something I would never recommend, but it's the only opportunity I had, so I did it. And eventually I raised the rates on them. And that's kind of another trait you need to have if you're going to do this freelance thing or business thing, is you need to realize that you're the boss of your business and you don't ask for raises. You tell clients that you're raising the rates. And that's eventually what I did for them. Or you tell clients that you're taking a day off. You don't ask for a day off. It's a totally different mindset. It's what I love about the work I do as a freelancer, is that things are more on my terms. Now, don't get the misconception that a lot of people have that everything's on your terms, because it's not. Your hours, people say, oh, you can work anytime you want. It's not true. I need to be available 9 to 5 to take care of problems, to communicate with clients, because that's when they work. And just like people say, oh, you don't have a boss, that must be nice, or it must be hard to get work done without a boss. You don't have anybody down your throat. And it's like, well, no, you have clients and they have expectations, and you make promises to them. They give you a task and you say, all right, I'll have this done by this date. And I don't know about you, but when I put a deadline on something and make a promise to somebody, I really want to fulfill it. So in some ways it's not that different than working a regular job, but in a lot of ways, of course it is, because you have those multiple bosses, you have your multiple clients, or maybe you have one, depending on what you're doing. But over the years, I've kind of grown from few clients to many, and then that was too many, and I hated having 10 different clients and sending 10 different invoices each month and all that. So I consolidated back down to a few, and then last year, a year and a half ago, I had my first child, my daughter, and that was, given my situation, it was a great opportunity for me to just basically fire a few clients that, my least favorite clients that I love working with, but I need to cut back on my hours. And I did that. And now I'm working part-time, taking care of my kid at home. And I've been able to do that. In 2021, I basically spent the whole year raising my child and spending time with her while I was working in the morning before she got up, and at night when she went to bed, and during the day whenever I could fit it in, whenever I needed to get something done. We didn't have to send her to daycare, and I got to spend a lot of time with her, in those early days, which, I feel very fortunate to have been able to do that. Yeah, that's my story. That's where I'm at. As far as freelancing goes, I've loved it. I've loved every year of it. There's been, there's ups and downs, and there's a little more uncertainty involved, but I think it's well worth it if it's something you really want to do. And that's something that this video isn't really going to change. It's not going to change for you one way or the other. If it's something you kind of want to do or you think would be nice, it's probably not for you. If it's something that you're going to make it happen no matter what I say in this video or whatever anybody else says in a video, then it's probably going to work out for you. And all I can say to those people is, if you have that seriousness about it and you really want to do it, you really want to be a freelancer, you want to have your own business, there's nothing you need to hear anybody say to you, except maybe just to give you permission to do it. And And really, you have to give yourself that permission. I can't even give it to you. But if you are looking for somebody out there, maybe that's done it, or somebody out there that's a little older than you or been doing it for a little while, to say, hey, you can do it, then I guess I'm saying that to you now. So good luck. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment. Happy to help anyone, answer any questions about this freelance kind of life. But other than that, I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.